Hey traders, John Howell here. Today, bit of a market update to see what's going to be happening moving forward this week. We'll be looking at obviously crypto markets, metals, miners, stocks, and also the interest rates as well too, and what they're actually telling us. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. Traders, make sure you grab access to that trading course I'm giving you. I'm giving you free access to my breakthrough trading course. It goes through 5 phases long. Also, as soon as you go over to johnsfreegift.com and put your email address in, the very first video you get, I teach you about my trading system. I even show you some trades. I even show you all my, I show you all my trades that I've been taking for the last couple of weeks. And so they're actually recent trades and some other stuff as well too. So just make sure you go over there. And that other stuff is like, you know, what it takes to be a good trader and so on and so forth. So just make sure you go over there, guys. If you want to see, if you want to see the trades I've been taking and my actual system that I use to trade these markets, then make sure you head on down to johnsfreegift.com or make sure you click on that link in the description there. So let's go. Let's actually start off with the good old stock market here, and we will go through here and we'll see what's actually going on here. So this is one of the big things, guys, about trading is all about small picture, big picture. A small picture is like what's happening right now, okay? So the small picture for me is like if I blow my chart up, I'm looking at the Sp500 now, okay? If I blow my chart up and I'm looking at it right now, I have like this is looking at 3 months. This is 3 months worth of data on the screen. But a lot of the times I'm looking at the 3 months just to see what the current flow is. Okay, so the best thing for me, I'm always looking at what's the current flow of the market, but then sometimes I can't actually get a true representation of what is going on in their markets by looking at the short-term picture. So I can see if I'm looking at the short-term picture and I'm trying to read the markets, okay, and this is about reading the charts. The second, then what's going on, who's in control, so on and so forth. So I can see that. Yeah, I can see we have a high, a lower high through here, right? We also have some sort of lower high through here, and we have a lower high through here. So if I'm reading the charts right now, I can see that we're actually making these lower highs through here. So for me, if I'm looking at this here, I would say, okay, then right now, I cannot be bullish on the short-term trades. Okay, this is short-term. There's a very big differences between your investing. If you're a buy and holder, then your strategy, the reason I'm an iron right now is because I'm thinking, okay, how do I say this? You need to have a different approach. If you buy and hold something, but then the market goes against you 10% and you're freaking out, it's the wrong approach, right? That's the wrong mentality with that approach. An investing mentality is like I have, right, with gold and the gold mining stocks right now. I'm a buy and holder. I don't care if the market goes down 30%. Why? Because I'm a buy and holder to the end of this decade. Decade, right? Means 8 years. 365 times 8. What is that? Put it in the comment section below, guys. What is that? 365 times 8. So the reason why I'm mentioning that to you is because it's really, really, really important, right, that we actually keep looking at the markets in a way of being smart and congruent with the way that we're approaching it. If it's an investing mentality, we're buying and then we're holding because we see on a macro level these things are going to play out over the next couple of years. Well, you shouldn't be like, well, I hope that the mining stocks are going to bottom right now. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I hope you can see what I'm saying. But for me, I do that. I do the investing. But then I also do my trading. Trading is more like a short-term approach. I'm looking for patterns, or I'm looking for actually one pattern. Again, it takes me a good 15-20 minutes just to walk through the pattern and then show you my trades. There's a half an hour video walking you through the system and the trades and so on and so forth when you go get access to that free trading course. When you get access to the free trading course. Again, guys, it's free. Just go get access to it. You'll see my system. I'll show you. But the thing is guys, is that if I'm looking at a short term, if I'm a short term trader, right, I'm getting in and I'm very active. I'm getting in, I'm going to hold for a couple of days or maybe for a week or two, then I must listen to the markets. And what's rule number one? For all my private clients, rule number one is what? Trend. And the thing is that never trade against the trend, right? And right now we are in a downward trend. What does that mean? That means until we get above this 3,950. Until we get past that, then the trend we may get up like that. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Oh, and then we get something like this. What does this mean? Oh, we're still getting what? Lower highs, lower highs. Even though we got a higher low through here, and this is actually really important. In a downward trend, and this is really, really, really important, okay, traders. In a downward trend, we have what? Lower highs and lower lows, okay? But what can happen sometimes is the market can rally up, give you a lower high, start to give you a higher low, and it starts to do something like that. See what's going on here? Look at this here. So we have lower high, lower high, lower high. So the market's coming down, right? The market, and then saying the market, but John, it's giving you a higher low. Isn't that buyers in control? No, not yet, right? Not yet, because in a downward trend, the most important part is a lower high. Sometimes the market can give you a fake higher low through here and not actually break past these highs to start an upward trend, and then it does something like this on you, right? And then what is it doing again? Oh, it's just another lower high. So we're in a downward trend. So when we're looking at that, it's the last high here that we need to be worried about. It's okay, if we do start to get something like that, that's when we could start to potentially change the trend. Makes sense? So that's the small picture, but the big picture for me, and that's always the big picture, is always looking at with my longer term moving average, okay, which is the 52 moving average. And when I'm looking at the big picture here, the big picture simply means I'm looking at 1, say maybe even 2 years, okay? That's what I'm looking at. So actually, what am I looking at there? Yeah, 2 years, exactly. So what I can see here when I actually look at the big picture here is, firstly, I can see that we're in a very big, strong downward trend. So trying to go long here right now is probably going to be very, very, very risky, right? But then on the other side, look what's happening look what happens when we have a strong 52 moving average. The probability is what? The trend, there's 52, this is a 52 on the daily chart. There's a lot of momentum behind this move, right? So you can see, look at this here. Notice how see the angle? We went like that, then we went like that. And what's happening right now? Notice how we're like that. Notice the angle, it's actually coming down much more steeper. So what could be forming right now is maybe just like a bit of a bear flag formation. So we always need to be careful of what we're doing here. And again, guys, the basis of what we're doing here, we're just trying to get a good understanding of what's happening in the markets. It doesn't mean we're going to trade based off this, right? If you trade based off what? Set of rules, a system. So right now, we're just trying to get a good sense of what's going on with the markets right now and what could be forming. We need to look at bullish scenarios and bearish scenarios. Well, right now, there's a lot more bearish scenarios because 1, the trend is down. 2, we have 52 trending down and strong, which is strong momentum. And if we have a look at this here, we have what? High, and then we have this last lower high. The market could just be doing this, right, like that, and something like that. We could just be going through a bit of a bull flag, right? This could be also a scenario. And again, guys, we always need to look at both scenarios. It's like, okay, what could be forming here and not be one-sided in the markets. Like even our traders, I'm actually long in the Sp500, right? I have a small position in the Sp500. I do see we're likely to go through a big rally. So I actually do see a big rally come the second half of this year. When inflation and interest rates, and I'm going to get to interest rates in just a minute, when that starts to pull back, I do believe we're going to start to see a rally. That's just what I believe. That's what I think, right? The market may tell me something different. So what the market is telling me, well, we actually may get a rally up like this. We may get something like this. And then we break back down and we break back down through there. And guess what? Now we just made another lower high and then we head back down. So that could also be forming as well too. We could be forming a bit of a bear flag. So always be looking at, okay, I'm looking at the market one way, but is there other things that I'm not looking at that maybe I don't want to look at because maybe it's going to prove that I'm wrong, right? And so that's what I'm looking at right now. Is this going to develop into some sort of a bear flag when the market opens up this week? So that's going to be the really interesting thing. Same for the what's the word for it? The Nasdaq, right? But we're not, again, we could be getting something like right now as we speak, we are developing into like this little bit of a triangle pattern through here, as you can see. So if I open up my charts a bit more and we bring this over through there, right? If we have a look at that, we're actually developing this here. So what could be forming right now, and again, this is where we need to be, be honest with ourselves. If we're trying to buy the market right now, it's pretty risky, because look at this here, right? We have this movement through here. We actually could get that through there. We could even get something like that through there. Just a bit of this whole thing here could just be what? This whole thing here could just be one big massive pullback through here, right? And then suddenly we get something, a breakout like that, and then suddenly we head back down again. So we could be getting that. And so that's what's happening through there. If I look at my longer term charts, there is major support levels still below where we are now. So we could get one more last push out of the markets, on the Dow, because on the Nasdaq there's major support levels around this sort of 9,000, just below 10,000. There's these couple of long terms. This is the weekly. That's a daily chart. Let's go to the weekly chart. See this long term weekly chart, right? So let me bring this over here like that, like so. As you can see, right? So we have this major low, major low. The Nasdaq will find support through here somewhere. So we could be getting. I do believe that if I'm a betting man, I think we're probably going to see a good second half of this year. I could be wrong with that, but on the short term, we may even get one more last push that pushes into this major support level here to really get the capitulation coming in the market, and then see what happens there on the S&P500. The S&P 500. This is a weekly chart once again, looking at the big picture, and you can see what's happening here. The market's actually pulling back, but we're not quite at my sort of maybe X marks the spot, or three X marks the spot, right? What is that? This is that we see. We have this obviously major bottom through here, major bottom through there. But notice how this angle here, support, all the support, almost a support. Notice how that blue line is very, very close to where we are now. And then we have all this resistance levels through here and the resistance levels here. So this whole area through there, we've got the blue trend line and the black trend lines coming through. That 3,500 level is definitely going to be an area where we're likely to see a very, very, very significant downturn in the markets through there. So once again, looking at that, and if I look at the daily charts through here on the S&P and I squeeze my charts up, you can see where all the lines start to come into conjunction of maybe 3,500, maybe even down to 3,000 level on the S&P 500 before we start to find some really significant support levels. So my bias is obviously still down because the market is still down, and this is possibly just going to go through. This here on the S&P is possibly just going to be one of these, right? Pull back. Look at this here, pull back. This could just be an overall pullback before what? Before we start to see these another downward leg through there. Make sense? So let's go have a look at the Russell just quickly, and the same thing for the Russell that I'm noticing as well too, right? So the Russell 2000. And then I'm going to get into some of the crypto markets and then interest rates and metals and miners for this market update, just to get us ready for this week to see what's happening here. Because the market's always changing, guys. And right now, the daily chart's telling us something now, but then obviously a week or 2 weeks later, the market could be morphing into something else. And as a short-term trader, I'm always watching what the market's telling me right now, because that's the only thing that matters, right? So looking at this trend line through here, we have that through there. We also actually have, let's actually bring this up through here, right? So we also have I'm just looking at the Russell daily chart over the last sort of maybe 12 months or so. And then we also have something going on through there. I would say yes. And you can see what's happening now. So we actually high, lower high, lower high, lower high through there. So we can see that through there. So I'm just looking at here. We are having a bit of a short-term upward movement, but remember, guys, this short-term upward movement could just be what? It could just be a bit of a flag formation, right? We need to look at the possibilities that could just be a flag formation, and then all this may be doing. And this actually, the good thing about this traders is that this could actually be a trading opportunity, right? If we get something like this, the market rallies through here, and then we get something like that, and the market just does that, and then we get a strong bar breaking down like that. Guess what? It's probably another good opportunity, just like this breakout bar here, and just like this breakout bar here, right? Pull back, breakout bar, pull back, breakout bar, pull back, breakout bar. So guess what? There is a thing called short. You know that short button? Yeah, we can click on that too, right? Or you know the thing called put option? Oh yeah, we can do that too. And guess what? And then we can do that. Then we can do that through it. And that's exactly what I did with the Dow Jones traders, right? It's the exact same thing. Let me take that off the screen here for a minute. But it's the exact same thing, right? This is all I did with the Dow Jones, right? All I saw was what? I saw where we were at this level here. So as you can see, I just saw with the Dow Jones, we had this pullback, went sideways, and guess what? See this arrow here? Same thing, right? Breakout bar came down, lower low, lower high. We were at this level of support as well too. And then we had the breakout bar going with the trend. Obviously, there's a bit more to it than this, but I'm trying to keep it simple, you know. And then we ride it for a couple of days, short-term trade. Thank you very much for your homemade bickies, right? And we could be developing something again real soon. What is that? Oh, look, same sort of thing on the Dow Jones, right? So as you can see, look at this here. So we have that through there, right? So what could we be forming through here? We could be forming this point through here, and then we get something like that, and then the market does something like that, and then yeah, we could get something like that coming down. Looking at the big picture on the Dow Jones though, is that the big picture on the Dow Jones, there's a couple of, we're actually almost at that level of support now on that big long-term weekly chart. So the Dow Jones probably doesn't have that much to go. If we do start to get a bit of a flush down, it's probably around that 29,000 mark that we may be getting ready for a move down to first before. Again, if we do see a big rally second half this year, if we do, then we're probably going to find some support around these levels through here. Let's go have a look at gold and silver now. Actually, I'll start off with the mining sector. So just the GDX here. The GDX is coming all the way down, and we have been coming down for quite some time now. So we could be getting ready for some sort of a bit of a short-term bounce. But just remember, traders, rule number one is what? Trend, right? So we always just keep it simple here. People's like, oh, it's definitely going to be a bottom here, and I hope, right? Someone on my YouTube channel said, I hope this is going to be a bottom. Don't hope, right? What are you hoping for? You shouldn't be hoping, oh my goodness, I hope this works out. No, wrong thing. If you're hoping, you're in the wrong position. Whenever I get into a trading opportunity, I don't hope. I'm really confident that most of these is going to make a profit. There is no hoping, it's just knowing. And that's the reason why my trading system is so successful, because when I get a system that meets, like I say to all my private clients, right, and anyone that sees my system, show me a trade that meets the rules 100% that doesn't actually make at least a short-term target, which is like a 30 or 40% target. You know, show me a trade that doesn't, because it's very hard to actually find a trade that doesn't at least hit that short-term target before it actually hits your stop loss, right? And it's actually quite amazing. It's actually very difficult to find a perfect setup that doesn't. Now, they don't come around that often, and again, you'll be able to see the system I'm talking about when you go over to johnsfreegift.com, get free access to the trading course, and then you'll be able to see it from there. But moving on to here, right? Moving on now, we have a high, a lower high, and then we're breaking back down through here, right? So we could just begin, if we do get a rally through here, this could be a bit of a false breakout. I mean, like, this could be a final bottom in the markets where we get a flush down below support, and then the market starts to rally. That could be like that. Or we could just get something like this, and then the market continues, and then guess what? Oh, we just made another lower high, and then the market goes down. What I used to do, traders, especially when I was very bullish, if I saw this pattern and I was very bullish to the market, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a final low. Here we go. It's going to get ready for the big move up. And then I was completely oblivious to what the possibilities of the other side could be happening. And then more times than not, the stuff that I was totally ignoring that I should be focusing on, one, told me not to be in, and two, it was giving me plenty of warnings to possibly even get out for a small loss. Instead of having, you know, a 20% loss on my entire account, I should have had maybe a 10% loss, if you know what I'm saying there. So that's what I'm looking at there with the with the gold mining stocks. Looking at gold as well too. Same thing for gold. Even though on gold we do have these like long-term support levels coming into play where we are right now. I'm not going to put too much into practice there, or too much into that there. We are at that level through here. The big key levels for me, traders, if I'm looking at this big long-term weekly charts, is that if we do hold here, okay, like look if we look at this here, we have a high, lower high, another lower high. So we're downtrending, okay? And now we are at this sort of blue line, which is a possible area of support. So what could be forming through here? What could be forming? Oh, we could be forming what? A bit of a double bottom. And we can see this whole, this is a weekly chart, remember traders, this whole area around this sort of 1900 area, 1850 to 1900 area, You can see that was a major level of resistance on a weekly chart. Remember, these are like, 5 days worth of trading each. And then we had 1, 2, 3. So that was a month worth of all that. There was 1 month worth of rejection there. So if we do start to get on a weekly basis, something like this, then we start to get a weekly close back above that level there. That's going to start to show what? It's going to start to show strength in that direction, right? We're going to see a lot of strength in that direction. If this is the double bottom, now we see, now we're starting to see, well, we did have a trend line coming down through there as well too, as you can see. We did have a bit of a double bottom. Now we're breaking past this key level of strong resistance. So for this, if this does happen over the next couple of weeks, then we would know that this breakout bar here, right? This breakout bar is off a double bottom, and also breaking past a lot of areas of resistance, and then a resistance coming down through there. Makes sense? So off a double bottom, but also if we can break past and close above this resistance line and then this resistance line as well, and we get something like this, then possibly we could get a bit of a short-term pullback off it like that, maybe for a week, and then we're probably going to be off to the races, and then probably head back up to or from there. Because this is probably going to be a bit of a bottom pattern. Because when I'm looking at that's the short-term picture there, right? When I'm looking at the overall picture, I'm still seeing that we could quite possibly be developing. This is a higher low. This could be some form of higher low. This could be form of higher low through there. And I'm not too quite sure about what's happening here. Right? There could be a higher low to there, but I'm not too quite sure about what's going on there. It's very, very messy, not very too clear. But on that short-term picture, as you can see, and if I bring up my daily charts to show you a bit more clearer, you can see this is what if this is a double bottom and we get something like that and break up through there, that's that pattern that I just shared with you on the weekly charts. Make sense? So let's go have a look at silver. Silver has continued to roll over. The thing about silver that I'm noticing right now as well is that we're getting very close to some significant areas of support and resistance. So like this whole area from where we are seeing right now, this whole sort of $19 area, maybe even a bit lower, is a strong level of support. So it's making me think that looking at this here, that we could be getting a bit of this actually could just be a bit of a slow grind down, because that's what it has been. It hasn't been a very strong move down, so we may get a little bit more downside, as you can see through there, before we start to hit these major level of support levels, and then maybe we're going to start to form something else, right? But not that something else hasn't formed yet. Now, what would be nice if we did get a bit of a flush down through there, but then we start to have a bit of a rally back up, and then we start to come back down, and then we start an upward trend. See through here, that if we got something like this here, where we got the phone's going off. So see that there? Look at this here. So now we have a higher low breaker pass. This will be the point of saying, okay, now the buyers are coming back in. But until we get that, we're not getting that, right? This could just be a continuation of the downside. So we never hope. We always just go with what the market's telling us, right? So we have a high, lower high, lower high. We have a big flush down. If we do start to get this, which could be some form of a head and shoulder formation as well too, right? Now we're talking, it looks like it's starting to bottom out, and then we break that. Okay, now the buyers are starting to come back in. It's very, very simple. Rule number one, which is the trend. What is the trend? And then we can just stick with that. Let's go have a look at the good old Bitcoin. It's actually, I call it Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin for most people anyway. And so we can see one thing that I'm noticing that when it comes to Bitcoin is that we are still in a very, very, very big, strong downward trend. And this is where, remember the trend is your friend, right? So look at this here. So we have a high, a lower high. Look at this here, lower high. And a lot of people were hoping that 28,000, 30,000 level was going to hold, and before you know, we're going to get a bounce, right? Look what happened. Down we go, another lower high. We could just be getting a more down we go through here. So looking at the good old Bitcoin, we can see that we have that's that area of major resistance. So we may get a bit of a bounce through there, but I really do see that's that level through there. So possibly next stop for me is that 10,000 level, which is not too bad, right? We can always short it. If we have a look at Ethereum, let's go look at Ethereum. Ethereum could be making its way back down towards, probably 500. Now, the thing I'm looking at, we may not go there straight away, right? Because look at this here. Whenever we have a very big long move, we end up getting a pullback. We've already had a very, 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 very big long move here. So, do we continue? Do we continue the free fall, or do we get a pullback first? Let's go have a look at the. Let me put on the 52 moving average just so I can see what's happening through here. Okay, yeah. So we have been going down for quite some time through here. You know, and then we're just going sideways through there. So right now, what could be happening is that we could just be getting ready for a sideways movement through here, right? So a bit of a sideways movement through here like that, and then maybe a bit of a breakdown from there. Looking at Ethereum, what else do I have here? Neo, Cardano. Cardano is actually one that I'm watching right now myself, because I've been noticing we're going sideways through here, right? So I'm actually looking for a trade here on Cardano myself. High. We have this lower high, and then now we're getting this sideways movement through here. So if we get a strong bar breaking through like that, that could actually be a really nice shorting opportunity for me. And because if I look at this here, I can see that by looking at the Cardano, let me put on the 20 there. Yeah, I can see that the next major level of support, if we do start to break that, is down through here. See that this is that's that. I'm looking back here, that's that next major support and resistance around the $6 level. So if we have a look at what's happening right now, we can see how we're getting this sideways movement. So if we get a strong bar breaking down, we could see a very, very, very nice movement on the downside. So it's actually setting up for a trade that I'm possibly going to be looking at there. So you can see that once again that's that major support level through there. But once we do break, we could be heading back down towards that $5 or $6 level there, which could be quite nice from there. So it's something that I'm definitely watching on Cardano, and you can see that's the reason why I've got the yellow tag there to see what's going on there. Let's go have a look at interest rates there, traders, and we will finish up from that. The big thing about interest rates is I've been talking about interest rates are probably going to start to pull back soon. The long-term interest rate, which is the 10-year, the 30-year, and that's exactly what's been happening so far. This is exactly what I've been talking about and exactly planning out the way that I saw it, which was as the Fed starts to jack up the short end, which is what they control, and then the long end, which is the free market, the bond, and so on and so forth. The 10 and 30 year probably starting to get towards the end of this movement. And that's what we're getting right now. I've been talking about how this is going to be the last final hooray. With like the last, we get that, we generally get that last little push, right? If you think about you at the gym, you're going, you're tired, you have a little bit of rest, and you go again, and you just give it everything you got, and then you crash, right? So that's more like, that's what the market does. It goes, has a little bit of pullback, and it tries to go one more time, and then it just pulls back through there. That's that last final hooray. That's the last little bit of energy it's got in that move up before we start to see some sort of strong pullback, and that's what we're getting right now. You can see how, and as you can see, that's exactly what actually happened. We had this very big strong move up, a little bit of a pullback, and then that last little push up, and then now we're getting this sort of pullback through here. So I wouldn't be too surprised if maybe we even got something like that coming back down and seeing the 10-year pulling back. And the same thing for the 30-year as well too. Actually, 10-year was down 4% last week, and the 30-year was down just over 2%. And the same sort of thing for the 30-year. But the one thing I'm noticing also with the 30-year is this. It's actually right at this major level of resistance after getting this last push. So we have resistance through here, but then we've also got that last up, bit of a pullback, last final hooray, and then we just get this sort of crumbling back down. So we may even come back down towards the 2.5 level. And if we do that over the next, say, 6 months, and this is the 30-year over here, but then the 1 year over here, the Fed's jacking it up even more. That's when we start to get the inverted, where the short end, where the Fed controls it, and then the 30-year, which we're looking at right now. If the 30-year starts to get to 2.5, even come back down to maybe 1.6, but then suddenly the short end is at 2. So if let's actually do this here. So if the short end is, say, at 2 or even maybe 2.5. Just say for example the short end is at say 2.5. Right, short end over here. This is where the short end is here, and then the long end is down here. That's that from there to there. That's the inverted. We should be seeing the longer end up like that. That's not inverted, where the higher, and then this is where it's inverted through there. Let's have a look at the 2 year as well. And the same thing for the 2-year as well too, right? The exact same thing. I see interest rates pulling back big time. And that's where, like, on a macro level, I went through the short-term picture with you today, but on the macro level, I'm always looking at where we likely to go based off the things that are moving these markets, right? Which is interest rates. Big thing is interest rates and inflation. And I do see inflation is I do see inflation being transitory. I know people say, what? Inflation's not transitory, right? So we have this thing through here. So we have this resistance through here, then we have look at this here, big move up, and we have this move through here, we have a little last final hooray, and now we get this pullback. So guess what? We're probably going to start to see something like this coming soon out of the markets. I don't know, and the thing is, traders, I don't know what's going to cause this. People's like, why is that going to happen? I don't know. I can just read charts, and charts give you a good story of what's likely to happen moving forward. Hey traders, I'm giving away 100% free access to my brand new breakthrough full trading course. This is 8 videos over 10 hours of pure amazing and powerful strategies. This is my most powerful systems and strategies that I've used for the last 16 years, and I'm giving it away for free. So this is what I want you to do right now. I want you to go to johnsfreegift.com, or there should be a link around here somewhere, a button or in the description or somewhere in there. Click on that and you can go get free access to my brand new breakthrough trading course. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now. Go do that right now, guys. You can get full, complete, free membership access. Go do that right now.